Growing functions. Growing functions. So what about growing functions? There are two more or less natural ways, by the way, for functions to be introduced into programs. And the first is that you find yourself writing similar code multiple times, and you would prefer not to do that. And having more code means more space for mistakes and to hide, and more material to reach or for people trying to understand the program. And so you take the repeated functionality and find a good name for it and put it into a function. And the second way is that you find you need some functionality and that you haven't written yet and that sounds like it, and the service its own function, and you will start by naming the function, and then you will write its body, and you might even start writing code that uses the function before you actually define the function itself. And how difficult is it to find a good name for a function is a good indication of how clear a concept is that you are trying to wrap. And let's go through an example. And you want to write a program that prints two numbers and the numbers of cows and chickens on a farm, and with the words cows and chickens after them and zeros embedded before both numbers, and so that they are always 3 digits long. Like this example now, we have 007 cows and 11 chickens, and this asks for a function of 2 arguments and the number of cows and the number of chickens. Let's get coding now. Function print frame inventory and cows and chickens, and let cow string equal string cows semicolon while cow string dot length less than 3 and cow strings equal 0 plus cow string semicolon console.log $cow string and cows, and let chicken string equal string chickens, and while chicken string dot length less than 3 and chicken string equals 0 plus chicken string semicolon, then console.log $chicken string chickens and print frame inventory 7 and 11 semicolon. Okay, so writing dot length after a starting expression will give us the length of that string, and thus the while loops keep adding zeros in front of the number strings until they are at least 3 characters long. And mission accomplished. And but just as we are about to send the farmer the code along with a hefty invoice, and she calls and tells us she is also started keeping pigs, and couldn't we please extend the software to also print pigs? And we sure can, but just as we're in the process of copying and pasting those 4 lines or more time, and we stop and reconsider, and there has to be a better way, and here is a first attempt. Like this example now. Function print 0 embedded with lab and number and label, and let number string equal string number while number string dot length less than 3 and number string equals 0 plus number string semicolon console.log $number string $label. Then complete this example. Okay, so it works, by the way. It works, but that name print 0 embedded with a label and is a little awkward, and it conflates 3 things: printing 0 and padding and adding a label into a single function. And instead of lifting out the repeated part of our program wholesale, and let's try to pick out a single concept, by the way, like this example now. And a function with a nice obvious name like 0pad makes it easier for someone who reads the code to figure out what it does, and such a function is useful in more situations than just this specific program. For example, you could use it to help print nicely aligned tables of numbers. And how smart and versatile should our function be? And we could write anything from a terribly simple function that can only pad a number to be 3 characters and write to a complicated generalized number formatting system that handles functional numbers and negative numbers and alignment of decimal dots and padding with different characters and so on. And a useful principle is to not add clearance unless you are absolutely sure you are going to need it. And it can be tempting to write general frameworks for every bit of functionality you come across. Research that you won't get any real work done, and you will just be writing code that you never use.